Good evening. Welcome to the Poor Valley Boy Podcast. I'm your host, Ray Biggs. I got Mike Tomlin Jr., Mike Tomlin's illegitimate son with us. We have Milk Outwater Kuiper Jr. That's two last name, which is bad luck. And we got a very special guest I didn't tell you guys about because I wanted to surprise y'all. This gentleman at the bottom left corner is an Eagles fan. But why we got an Eagles fan on the show? He is the fiance of my daughter,
This
where
is
they're
true.
both alumnus. They're both alumnus from what college? Michael Atwater. Can you guess what college?
Spot up. Let's go, Georgia.
He ain't paying attention.
Ah,
The Fort Valley State Union.
Fort
shit.
Valley State.
Indeed.
We
The
we have,
Fort
we have
Valley.
we the Fort
My
Valley. We have
bad, y'all.
Siani Board.
Still in the
I'm watching the
SAT.
Georgia basketball game. I'm sorry, y'all.
We got Siani Board as a special guest with us tonight. An Eagles aficionado who can answer all the questions why the Eagles fucked up. Siani, what's going on, man?
What's
Hey,
going on,
Faye,
y'all?
we
How
need to
y'all
treat
doing
him.
today?
What's happening?
Faye,
What's
we need to
happening?
treat him like they did Reggie on Bad Boy. You remember when Martin and Will Smith had it?
Came to the front door.
He came to the front door. Hey, what's your intention with my daughter and my sister-in-law, daughter-in-law, nigga?
One of the young Thundercat, one of the young Thundercats.
The cats.
Yeah, we gonna grill this nigga here.
Hey man, it's all cool. Trust me, it's all cool.
So
So what?
Faye,
Yeah, go
I'm
ahead,
gonna
Mike.
Atwater Kuiper Jr. gonna open up with his first mock top 10. So y'all listen to the mock top 10. Now it's done changed some today since Dante Moore has decided to stay in college. I don't know why, but he decided to stay in college.
Because
He be right back,
you
by the
know
way.
what? Because I'll tell you why. Go ahead, though. I'll tell you why.
So my new top 10, Faye, number one, I got the Las Vegas Raiders. I get, of course, getting Fernando Mendoza. That's going to be their quarterback. So that's what we're going with, number one. The Jets, I think the Jets now really need to trade down. Like, because you're not getting a quarterback. Maybe you can get that bridge type quarterback. But I got the Jets getting the defensive end from Texas Tech, David Bailey, with the number two pick. With the third pick on my mock board, I got the Arizona Cardinals getting Arvil Reese. It's a linebacker out of Ohio State. Ohio State coming again right here with the number four pick. Tennessee Titans, man, they need as much help as they get, especially on the defensive end. I got Caleb Downs going four to the Titans. With the fifth pick is the New York Giants. Now, they need to build young and build a good offensive line for Jackson Dart and Scatterboo and Malik Neighbors. I wanted to get them a receiver, but I can't go with a receiver over offensive lineman. So I'm going Caden Proctor, offensive tackle from Alabama. I got him going fifth to the Giants. At six with the Browns. Now, my logic with the Browns, if you're gonna build around Shador, they need to get offensive weapons. Like I don't Jerry Judy is the only receiver I know Cleveland got. I don't know who the other receiver, who the slot guy is, but I'm going to Cornell Tate from Ohio State. I got him six going to the Browns. Seven with the Commanders. Maybe kind of high to get a running back here. Washington, I feel like you all right with receivers. You got to decide what you're gonna do with you got Debo Samuel, you got McLaurin. So I got Washington getting the running back from Notre Dame, Jeremiah Love, going to the Commanders. At eight with the Saints, I got them getting a receiver out of Arizona State, Jordan Tyson. At nine, Kansas City, this may be a reach. The cornerback from Clemson, he's actually from Atlanta. And it's A.J. Terrell's little brother, Avion. So I got Avion Terrell. Kansas
That's a
City, you
water.
can go in different
Ain't that a water?
directions.
Ain't that a water?
Huh?
Ain't that a water?
What's your man that award? What's your
Avion. Ain't that a type of water? Brand
Yeah,
water
it
brand.
is.
Avion. You
Stay
got some of the
focused, Faye.
Avion, though. You got some
Faye,
of the Avion, though. You
stay your
remember
ass
that movie?
focused, okay? I got Terrell going ninth to the Chiefs. But like I say, the Chiefs could go different ways. I originally had Reuben Bain, but I got Reuben Bain going 10 to the Bengals because I'm expecting Cincinnati to lose Trey Henderson. So that's my mock top 10, and we'll do one in a couple weeks, another one, after the Senior Bowl and Super Bowl and all that stuff. So I think.
Yeah, Dante Moore kind of pushed everybody up a little bit because he's going back to college. I think that's a good decision, but I wouldn't went back to Oregon.
For sure.
I mean, why not go back to Oregon? Shoot,
I would have went to Miami.
if
You
anything,
go to Miami.
That Indiana game proved, man, I just got my butt whooped. If I can't win on the college level, what makes me think I can do it on the pro level? And I'm going to one of the worst teams in the league. No, I'll wait.
He could have went to I'd have went to Miami. Miami gonna need a quarterback after this year.
But when do you
Back used to declaring.
when do you as Miami start developing quarterbacks? Like how many years in a row are you gonna continue to go into the transfer portal? Well, I guess if it's being successful for you, you keep doing it.
Yeah, you keep doing it. Let's see how to get in.
I mean, you in the championship game though, so I mean, it worked, right?
And it's gonna keep working.
I mean, I think that's just the state of college football now, especially with the NIL deals. It really looks like to me, I compare it to like the NBA, right? Where it's just like, oh, this star player going here, this star player with the NIL deal. Like, look at Indiana; they haven't been good in decades, but now because of the NIL and the money they can shell out, you know, the transfer portal is just like where it's at. So, you know, I really feel like these college players don't really owe anything to the college they go to anymore. I think they're really treated just like how NFL players treat teams like, oh, I don't like it here, I'm going to transfer.
And that's the problem. That's the problem right there with college sports now. I just listened to an interview with John Calipari, out of all people. John Calipari, who would get kids to go to different schools and paper mills and things and try to build him a championship team. But he said one of the things that should have happened, and I said this in another production meeting, the first transfer, if you get to a school and it's not going to work out for whatever reason, you don't think it's going to work out for whatever reason, you should be able to transfer wherever you want to go. Free. Hands free. Now, you get to that next situation and all of a sudden you feeling the same way. No, you got to sit out that next time. We gave you one free. You got to sit out that next time because you're not developing anything. You got kids like what was the quarterback name, Mike? That came to Georgia, ended up in West Virginia. He came from USC. What was his name? You know who I'm talking about? Played at Georgia and then who beat him out that year and never looked back?
JT Daniels.
JT Daniels. That's him. JT Daniels. JT Daniels played football for, I know, 5-6 years. Didn't get drafted. He probably does not have a degree. But that's the problem.
He got a degree.
From school to school without penalty, and there's no allegiance anywhere. So my thing is this. If you want to transfer, that's fine. But that first time is free. Every other time, you're going to have to sit out.
So if you're going to do that, then we need to put stipulation on these coaches, too.
Yeah.
Because we got coaches jumping around, too. See, all we've been focused on is the history of the NCAA and like what we grew up on. Oh, no, you shouldn't transfer to this and that. So if we're going to put stipulation on these money-making student athletes, we need to put it on these coaches, too. So if you don't want them to transfer after 1 or 2 times, we need to do something with the coaches, too, then. So what's your plan for that?
Okay, so here's the difference. Let's take it back to amateurism. It's not anymore. But the classification is it's not a professional sport. That's part of the rules of being a student athlete. The coach, that's their job. That's their professional job. If I'm in the middle of somewhere and I'm semi-successful, doing a good job, but this bigger company wants me to come, I'm going. And there shouldn't be no penalty if I do it right. If I put my notice in, tie my loose ends over here, and I should be able to go. Not like Lane Kiffin. Yeah, he should be penalized. Not like that guy.
For sure. And I'm an LSU fan. And even I thought that was like, wow. Like, really?
In the middle of the championship race.
What do you need to be penalized for?
You shouldn't be able to leave in the middle of the season.
Especially to another SEC team in your conference.
You should be able to dock your pay or something.
Yeah.
They should be able to take something from you.
He didn't leave in the end of the season. He left at the end of the season.
There was no just so happened. When I saw Ole Miss still play 2 more games.
He just so happened his team was in the playoffs.
Okay, so he's still in the season then. Document.
So other coaches done left too then. They should be in the same boat with Lane Kiffin, right?
Yes, they should get docked.
They should
There
get
should be
docked.
some type of penalty if your team is playing and you entertain job offers in the middle of the season, whether it's postseason, playoffs. If your team is still playing, yes. Now, if your team is finished, you out the bowl game, you played the bowl game, and y'all done. That's different. That's your time. You in the off season. That's why they call it in season and off season.
Do you know
Especially with
how
them both being in the
chaotic?
same conference. That's kind of crazy too.
Do
Yeah.
you
Both
know
being in
how
the SEC West.
chaotic? Do y'all know how chaotic it would be for somebody to wait to you can't wait. I gotta get recruits. I gotta keep players. I can't wait till these seasons over with a lot of time to make these decisions. I gotta make these decisions now. You want me to wait till the season over or wait till January when I could lose the entire roster? No.
So Nick Saban said it best. Nick Saban said some of these dates are going to have to change. These open portals, these open portals, these recruiting days, they're gonna have to find a way to move them for cases like that. Because it's too chaotic with the way everything is currently set up. It's just too chaotic.
It is. It is with players and coaches. I wholeheartedly agree with that. I've never seen so much movement in college football before. And I don't know, maybe it's just like I said, maybe it's because of the NIL money, maybe because it's like, they're really, incentivizing, especially the players more. But I mean, I see what you're saying, but also at the same time, I feel like this may be the reality of finally paying college, because I've always been of college players should get paid, especially just how much they bring to the organization, how much they bring to their universities and whatnot. So I mean, if the constant movement is a result of college players getting paid now, thus meaning that coaches get moved too, I can understand. But what I do agree with you, what you're saying, that it should be stricter deadlines, and it should be like, listen, like in the NFL, like, listen, if you don't make that trade deadline by October 16th, and all right, then after October 17th, you got what you got until the off season starts.
Mm-hmm.
This is a topic that's never going to end. We're going to argue about this every day, every year, every chance we get. Jamon says, so it's like cheating on your wife. You want the guy to get docked in court?
Yep.
Well,
Yep. Yep.
all right, let's move on to go ahead and jump on the national championship game. Indiana beat the brakes off Oregon. Miami out physical Ole Miss, even though Ole Miss was in the game, even though quarterback threw about 4 or 5 picks that weren't picks.
Yeah.
First question is for everybody. I'm gonna start with Ciano. This one, was that pass interference on the last play of the game?
Yes. I do, man. Listen, the thing about pass interference is that it's the most wishy-washy call in all of sports, regardless of whatever sport you want to talk about. And it's like sometimes they give it some leniency, sometimes it's like, oh, like we'll let the players, whatever. But in that instance, for me, I thought it was pass interference. But that's just me, I really do. And I also got to give Ole Miss credit. For as physical, probably only second to, funny enough, Indiana's defense. I think Miami's defense is just so physical and whatnot. And even though the Chambliss did have a lot of turnovers, for him to throw as many yards as he did and put up as many points as he did on that Miami defense, I was impressed. But I did not think, on the other hand, Carson Beck was going to put up the numbers or put up the game that he did. But to circle back to the original question, yeah, I did think it was a pass interference.
All right, go ahead, Straw.
I want to be honest with you. It could go either way, but it's 9 times out of 10, they are not going to call that in that situation. A Hail Mary throw, several people in the end zone. It could have gone according to the rule. They feel like that both parties are engaging to go for the ball. They're not going to call it, even if it was. I kind of think it wasn't based on the situation, and I don't even know if the ball was really catchable. So I don't think so.
Faye, I referee football. You don't call that at that point of the game. If you ain't called that earlier, you don't call that now. So it was both going at it, nah, you don't call that.
No, that's fair too, for sure. I mean, like I said, that's why I say with pass interference, it's not a set in stone call. It's like, okay, are you guys playing physical? You're not playing physical. Okay, if you've been playing physical the whole game, y'all can be hand fighting. Oh, yeah, I haven't been playing physical. Okay, a certain degree of hand fighting is allowed, but at the same time, it's like it's such a gray. It's the grayest gray area call in all of sports. That's why I say, but um, y'all answers there's really no wrong answer, like y'all just said. Like there's really no wrong answer for it. So
That one an offensive charge.
yeah. But yeah, like I said, I give Ole Miss credit though. I didn't even think they were going to get that far, honestly, in the playoffs.
No, I really thought they would have been out. I thought Georgia had them because of all the turmoil that Lane Kiffin left them with.
For sure.
But and then for them to be as close as they were in that game, because there was even more turmoil going into that next game with more coaches leaving that had to leave.
Right.
And so it was crazy. Now Oregon had a whole nother thing, but we'll talk about that. That's the next one.
Oh yeah, that was that's. But yeah, I really feel like, ironically enough, that the Lane Kiffin leaving kind of put a battery in their back. Like, well, we kind of didn't need you anyway. As a matter of fact, we're going to show you what you left behind. So I definitely give them credit. They fought hard. I thought the Georgia game was a great game. I thought they could have won the Miami game. Their defense just folded at the end, unfortunately, and they really couldn't punch it in at the end. But I give Ole Miss credit. I'm an LSU fan. So. When everything happened with Lane Kiffin, I thought that was kind of crazy. I thought they were done for. I didn't expect them to be the best team in the SEC this year at all. So, got to give them props.
I really feel bad for your LSU fans. So, how do you feel about them paying Lane Kiffin $1 million basically after he beat Tulane and then beat Georgia? $500,000 for each win. This is not coming from Ole Miss. This is coming from the institution where his players have not stepped on the field. His team has not stepped on the field. $1 million. That is ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous.
To be honest with you, even though I feel like Lane Kiffin was probably the best we could get, I feel like it was honestly more of wanting to clean up what we did with having I already forgot Buddy's name because I just disliked him so much. Kelly. I think it was really more to just like wash that taste out of our mouth, other than being like, you know what, we're gonna, and I do think Lane Kiffin is a great coach, but just the fact that you have someone like Jaden Daniels, you have someone like Brian Thomas, you have all these NFL Pro Bowl type players on your team, and you can't even muster up a playoff appearance or anything. So I think the way we looked at it is that if we just get an objectively better head coach than Brian Kelly, then we'll at least make the college football playoffs, because our recruiting class is constantly, top notch. So I don't know if he was going to end up being available, but I really liked Notre Dame's head coach. But Lane Kiffin, I mean, I can't complain. We'll see. This year doesn't really count. It is what it is. Next year we'll see for sure. So, I'm gonna leave that for another time, because Nussmeier is beyond overrated. Oh my gosh. He is beyond overrated. I don't even want to talk about that guy right now. So, but yeah, we'll see.
All right, and no need to talk about Indiana Oregon game, because that was just
so the Indiana Oregon game is the equivalent of Lois Griffin grabbing Peter Griffin on the nuts and say, "These are mine."
Yeah,
that was what happened right there.
That
escalated them in front of everybody.
Yeah,
everybody.
The funniest thing about that game is that my best friend, he's funny enough an Alabama fan, so we have our back and forth rivalry. And when Indiana beat the brakes off of Alabama, I'm giving him an earful, like y'all need saving, blah 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 blah. And then I sit down and I watch the Oregon game, and he calls me. He's like, See, it's
It
not
wasn't.
just us. Like
It
they like,
wasn't.
you know, he like they're just like that this year, you know. And I was like, wow, I did not expect a blowout with that Oregon game whatsoever. That was, geez, Louise, man, that was terrible.
Mike really into that game. Watching
I'm watching the Georgia game. My bad, my bad. Um, is Miami back or are they just hot? Which one is it?
If the everything continues the way in the current trend, they're gonna be just hot, and then they're gonna get cooled off on Monday. If everything at this point, that's the way it's looking. They're gonna
That's
get
true.
cooled off Monday night because I just somebody pointed out a fact that I think it was you, Michael, last week when you talked about all the fourth, third, fourth, the junior seniors and super seniors on this Indiana team. These are kids that have played some college football. They have played. These ain't a bunch of freshmen and super sophomores. These are juniors, seniors, fifth year, 6 year players that
Yeah,
are playing on this team. This is a borderline NFL team in some respects
that's true.
because of the ages of some of these cats. Just
That's true.
saying. It's just saying. It's just, I mean,
Damn,
it's going to
Georgia
be
That's
a
lost
true
to
good
the Bullets.
game. If both teams show up, it's going to be a good game. I will say that.
for sure. I do think that, and I give Mendoza his credit. You know, Heisman, what are the whole nine. Not only do I think this has been a historically bad year for Heisman candidates, I think Mendoza is good. I think he's a first round pick, but I think if you were to line it up with the prospects from maybe like the past 2 or 3 NFL, drafts, I don't think he's in the top 7 or 8. He might be
This,
outside the top 10, honestly. But I just think that just speaks to how small um, the QB draft class is this year and how honestly bad college football was this year because I'm not taking him over Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, Drake May, who else? Honestly to me, and I'm an Eagles fan, so I've seen him twice this year. I don't know if I would take Mendoza over Jackson Dart. You know what I mean? So I mean, I wish him the best, but at the same time, it's like you're going to Las Vegas as well. So it's like, I mean, you'll have weapons, but like the continuity that you need at the top of the organization, and you don't even know who your head coach is because they just fired Pete Carroll. So it's like
that was
you got
he
to
was.
you
If you
you
talk
got
about the
Ashton
meal of a
Genty, you
stopgap,
got Brock Bowers, and you got a prayer that you got a good head coach. So
and Ashton Genty, if you want, because he doesn't have the miles on him, so that's two.
true,
Um,
true.
this reminds me, even though he is this is a different era, but this reminds me of the year Gino Torretta won the Heisman. Gino Torretta was in the same Heisman class as Marshall Faulk and Garrison Hurst.
Okay,
When you get to talking about some of the greatest players of all time in that class, Marshall Faulk was probably the greatest in that class. He should have, in my opinion, I think he should have won the Heisman.
it was
Then
98 draft,
Garrison Hurst, what's that?
98 draft.
No, that's shoot. I want to say the 93, 94 draft
Oh
somewhere.
damn, I'm way off. Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, because it had to be, it might have been 92, the 92 draft. He ends up, I think Gio Torretta might have slipped to the fifth or sixth round, but Marshall Faulk and Garrison Hurst went in the first round, second round.
Okay.
So I mean, and then Marshall Faulk, being who he was, persevered and got a couple of Super Bowl championships. Um, Garrison Hurst had a solid career. And the last I saw Gino Torretta, he was maybe third string on the Minnesota Vikings. But this reminds me of
Jeez.
that where he is he's the guy that's on the best team, the best player on the best team at that time. He's the figurehead of that team because Gino Torretta, they played against Miami against Alabama in a national championship game, got destroyed, but he was already a Heisman Trophy winner, and nobody saw Alabama coming that year.
Hmm. Makes sense. Great analogy, honestly. Um, but like I said, I wish him the best. But again, when you just watch the Oregon game, I'm looking at my little, prize picks or whatever, and I'm looking at Fernando, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think he ended the game with like, I know, I think he just got over 200 yards, but I was just, I think because I didn't watch the game from the beginning. I tuned in at like around close to halftime. It was like 35-7. I'm like, oh, Mendoza must have been going crazy, and he only got like 113 passing yards, and I'm like,
Yeah, but
what?
he still has more touchdowns than incompletions right now.
He,
Right
hey,
now.
I give him credit. He's efficient. I give him
He'll
credit. I
get
give him credit. But like I
he'll
said,
get
we'll
more
see at an
too.
NFL level. We'll see. They do run a pro style adjacent offense in Indiana, so that obviously always helps when you go to the draft. But we'll see, man. We'll see. We'll see. We will see for sure.
All right, let's get to the championship game. What, Mike? What are the keys to the championship game on Monday night on Martin Luther King Day?
If Indiana can, that's gonna be a pro Miami crowd. The national championship game is in Miami. A couple years ago, Georgia played for the national championship at the Dome. So it would, but the difference with that, Georgia played Alabama, and Alabama fans travel well. Indiana fans were packed at Mercedes-Benz Stadium last week,
Hmm.
so they're gonna come to South Beach. They coming
Hmm.
down there, but I don't know how much of a crowd they're gonna be able to bring when it comes to playing down there. The keys for this game, Indiana with Mendoza. You've seen ends like this at Ohio State. You've seen guys like this at Alabama. So Miami can't throw nothing at Indiana that they hadn't seen. Indiana will be ready for everything. The key to the game, like it was against Ole Miss for Miami, can you outscore your opponent? This is not going to be no 14-10 type game. Miami's going to have to put up points. Can they continue to put up enough points? They did it against Ole Miss. They're going to have to do it against Indiana. They're going to have to put up points. This is going to have to be a 31-28 kind of game.
Ryan, then Siani.
Looking at everything the way it currently is, I'm gonna say I I'm just gonna go on and say this: the beatings will continue. I like Miami. I like that they are a good team, but I don't think they played two close games. No, they yeah, they did. They played a close game against Ohio State, and they played a close game against Ole Miss to get to this point.
And a
I don't
close
think
game
they
with Texas
played them by.
A&M. So they'd have had three close
Yeah, thank you, Mike. I knew it was another one. I just couldn't remember. I don't. Their luck has run out. I don't care if you playing in the middle of the quad in the University of Miami. When Indiana gets off that bus, they're gonna beat them, and it's gonna be. It's I said, what did I say last week? Fade by 20. They were gonna beat
Yeah,
Oregon by 20. I called that right.
yep.
All right, so they gonna beat Miami by 17, at least by 17.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I think my first man who was talking, he made a good point. When you face Indiana, you're gonna have to put up points. The problem is that defense is ferocious, dog. Like that defense is grown men on that defense. Um, I think the X factor is just the fact that Indiana's defense is just too dominant. It's just too dominant, and their offense just has the ability to score points. And I think Carson Beck has played better than I thought he could, but this is just where the line draws. Like that is just a mountain he cannot overcome, and I do expect Indiana to win by at least two scores, at least for sure.
All right, predictions. Ryan.
Indiana 35, Miami 14.
All right, Mike.
Uh, Indiana 31, Miami 28.
Siani.
Indiana 28, Miami 10.
In our pre-production, we had to pick a team in the playoff to go further. I have Indiana as champion, but I want Miami to win to be back. Uh, so I'm going with any other pick, but my heart would say Miami because I want you back because I want all those suspensions to happen again in a couple years. Anyway, that's low down. We know who Shot going for, and we know if Miami win, we know Shot gonna be off the chain on Wednesday. So they don't need to wait to Wednesday the party. They're gonna be partying immediately following the game in Miami win.
Mm-hmm.
Paulie Sur said y'all on dope. Fentanyl to be exact.
Why we on
Wow.
dope to be on? What's going on? What's his name? How you say his last
Paul.
name?
Paul
Monsieur.
Paulie
Monsieur.
Sur.
Hey, Paul, that's my partner, man. Paul from Miami. Ain't nobody from Miami going against Miami this week.
Nah, I don't want
Everybody
to.
from Miami is with the Canes. And let me make a message, send a message to Paul and everybody else. You guys are not back yet. You're just hot. This is like the NCAA tournament. You one of the hottest teams in the tournament. I remember some years back when UConn, they had like Kimball Walker or somebody. They just got hot and end up winning national championship. You win the national championship, you're a hot team. You're not necessarily back. We will see if you're back maybe after next year or the season after that. But you're just hot right now. And you can win it. And me saying that you hot, I'm not saying it in a bad way, but you're not necessarily back yet until we see it down the line. But you're the hottest team in the country. You actually been probably the hottest team in the country since 1st of November. Ever since that SMU loss, you probably been the hottest team in the country. So you got a shot because that game is in Miami. That is the key factor for the Hurricane. That game is really at the crib, and if I'm not mistaken, don't Miami play in that stadium?
Yes, the home stadium. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So you got a shot, man. You really do got a shot. And,
I
and, and
I
let's
don't
just
think
let's just be real about it, man. Indiana, this is the second time I consider Miami a blue blood program. The definition of a blue blood program for me is a team that's had a history of winning national championships, winning conference championship, does good in recruiting, puts players in the league. Miami is one of them blue blood programs. Indiana's not one of them programs. Will the clock strike 12 on Indiana? Because think about it. Over the last 20 to 30 years when it comes to the national championship in the game, a non-blue blood program, you really only seen two, and that is Indiana is what you're seeing now, and TCU about 3 years ago when they got beat by Georgia. You're gonna see the difference. Will you see the difference in the 5 stars and 4 stars that Miami got versus these veterans versus Indiana? So a lot of that stuff plays a part, man, when you talk about type programs. But I do think Indiana will win, but I really do think that Miami could win this game with no problem.
Uh,
I know they got home field, but I'm just man. I don't care if they was wrestling in a phone booth. I don't care. Indiana is going to win this football game, and here's the main reason. This is gonna sound silly as I don't know what. Lee Corso was in the first episode of College Game Day, and they retired him. He was the coach at Indiana that represented them. That is why. If nothing else, that is why. They doing it for Lee Corso. That's it. That's it. They could fight in the phone booth. They could fight right outside of the University Hall. I mean, they could play right outside of University Hall. It doesn't matter. Indiana is coming back they coming back from the depths of obscurity to have a national championship. Yeah, I think this is their first ever football national championship. They want to, what they say, they want to ring that bell. They want to ring that championship bell. And that's the only way is to go to Miami and do it. It's too much on the line. It's enough against them, not too much, but enough against them to where Indiana is going to say, I told you so. Kirk Signetti, I told you so. Fernando Mendoza. I told you so. That's what's going to happen on my MLK Day 2026. I told you so.
All right. One other team I want to add on that Clemson. Wasn't didn't become a blue blood until they won their first championship, but they were not a blue blood program in the 2010s. So you can argue with your mama on that one. Um,
I don't know about that, but okay.
they weren't a blue blood program until they won their first championship against Alabama.
That's
Uh,
true. Yeah,
They're
Clemson
new
won
blood.
national championships in the 80s, I think, 70s or 80s. They won a national championship, I want to say 80, 81, I think. Clemson
No,
has
they didn't
always
win
been a
81.
program.
No, come on, Mike. Come on, they didn't win 81. Come on, Mike.
Okay,
Bulldog
look
won
it
that
up.
one, I believe.
They won one in the 80s.
They did win it, like, I want to say if it was anything 84, 85, but I know Notre Dame and Penn State was up there too because Georgia played twice, won one, lost one. So
81, 16, and 18 were the three championship years. Is that a blue blood program? Three championships in 50 years?
Hey, Georgia got two.
Three in 50 years.
So is Georgia not a blue blood program then?
I'll consider them a new blood program.
Uh, Georgia's a blue blood program. Like I say, if you're a team that has won national championship, conference championship, constantly putting players in the league, do good in recruiting, you consider a blue blood program. Now, a team that recently got in there, I would say, kind of newest in the mid 2000s would be Oregon. They ain't won on national championship, but Oregon put players in the league. They played in two national championship, one national championship.
One,
So I,
two. They played
so
in
I,
two, lost two, got blowed out in one, and lost a close one at Auburn.
I think when you can get the top players, putting players in the league, you won national championship, conference championships, you consider a blue blood program. Clemson has always put dudes in the league. Always.
Okay. Well, we'll agree to disagree. Let's go on to the NFL. We had a compelling first. Before we move on to the NFL, I want to send our heartfelt condolences to the Steve Bunkley family. For those that may be watching, Steve Bunkley. If you know Steve Bunkley, he was the band played trumpet. He was a fraternity called Cavaliers, a non-Greek organization on Fort Valley campus. If you do Steve Bunkley, he was the band, probably the crunkest person in the band. He was so crunk, he never played a note on the field. How I know? Because I was in the band. Every time I looked at Steve playing, he would hit the trumpet like something was going on with his trumpet. Not near note came out his mouth. Ever. Never, ever, ever. I was there. And you could argue with your mammy. I synced it. I don't use this type of league. That nigga didn't play not one note on the field. But he could dance his ass off. He a crunker than a cat on catnip.
That's crunk.
it's crunk as hell.
That's crunk.
Man, when you think, man, and I talked to Steve around Thanksgiving. When you think of for the people that went to Fort Valley in the 90s, Steve Bunkley is a legend. Like when you
Mm-hmm.
think of some of the most popular and famous and legendary people that attended Fort Valley State in the 90s, Steve Bunkley is one of them people.
I agree.
Steve Bunkley is one of them people, no matter where you live, stayed during the 90s, everybody knew Steve Bunkley.
Mhm.
Everybody knew. And Bunkley, man, I tell you, me and his brothers and cousins, all of them were cool and kind of close. And it's tough. It was tough when I found out. I knew he wasn't doing well, but
Yeah.
I didn't think it would get to this. So,
Mm.
Yeah.
man, rest in peace to the legend. And when I say legend, to the legend Steve Bunkley, man.
Yeah.
Like if you went to Fort Valley State, bro, like I said, and really, if the band, when you think of the band, Steve Bunkley was one of the people you thought of when you thought of Fort Valley State band. So, and when Steve Bunkley and I were together all the time, it
Jack
was
cracking
a
jokes.
it was
Joke
a
fest.
3,000 comedy show. The people would stop. When I say
Miss
people would
class.
stop,
We miss
they would
class. We miss
stop to
class.
hear us Jones. We made people miss class. We apologize for that, y'all. Everybody that missed class to
That's
hear
on
us
no. That's
high
on
school
them. That's on
teachers.
them. That's on them.
We would shut down a whole student center just for people to listen to us Jones. Am I lying, Fate?
Nope. Nope.
Like Bunkley was that dude, man. So, man, I'm gonna miss you, Steve. I love you, man. Rest in peace, his family. I mean, rest in peace. Praying
Yeah,
for his
Sherrod. I
family.
think
Praying
Sherrod
for
was the
the
brother, right? Sherrod
yes,
brother, right?
Rod, brother. Rest in peace to the. Praying for his CI brothers and all that, man. I'm glad you mentioned that, Fade.
Yeah. Real quick, we get on the I can't say this enough. This nigga didn't play one note. He didn't play one note. But the damn routine, though. That's right.
It was there.
It was there. But the music, it wasn't. The dance routine were there. The music,
Not at all.
not at all. Not at all.
And something before we go to NFL, man, some people got to realize for those that don't know about the HBCU culture, man, if you in the band at a HBCU, man, you the stuff. You really are. Like the band is super popular at a HBCU. And Fade Vicks was your future father-in-law. He's another legend. He was a band director.
I've been told.
He was a
I've heard the
man.
whispers. I've heard the lore. I've heard.
He stayed with me. Fade didn't tell you he had a show in college too, TV show. Me and
Yeah.
him had a television show on campus.
Sports report, right?
Yep.
I'm
And
glad you talk
and,
about
and it was the
talk about
number
those.
one show, not just on campus. It was in Middle Georgia. Like people in Macon, Byron, Warner Robins, Perry. It started being showed and played, and like Fade. After a while, man, he got to a point where he was just Fade was super popular. He really was.
So wait, how you swing that? Did y'all have like a TV broadcasting station on campus, or y'all went somewhere?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Fort Valley had a broadcasting station, so I was a mass comm major. I said one day, well, ain't no point in just keep talking about sports here with these fellas. Let's turn it into a show, kind of like we do on this podcast. So I started a show called a Sports Report or Sports Reporters or something. And when I say it took off, cause it was nothing in the area like that, and it took off because they started. It was just shown on campus television station,
Hmm.
and then it got so big they started broadcasting it on in Macon and Warner Robins and Perry. So
Mm,
for Ryan, that's the equivalent of like Greenville, for us for LaGrange, Greenville,
yeah.
Columbus, Pine Mountain. It started showing that way, and man, people were knowing us everywhere. So yeah, we did that.
What building or what building would it be now considered where y'all was filming that at?
The Mass Com building is like on up the yard, closer towards
Next
the
to the
end of the
next to Patton Hall. To the left. If
yeah.
you're going up the hall, right before
Oh,
Patton
over there.
Hall.
Oh, wow. Okay, so over there. Okay. That's
I've been
dope.
there
I
too.
didn't even know that. I didn't even know if we had that when I was going there.
That building probably still there, but I think they combined all those departments like mass comm, fine arts, all that stuff got combined over the years. So
Oh, makes sense.
and I think Shirley Ellis ain't there no more, so ain't no telling what's going on with the mass comm piece of it. So probably a lot of stuff probably going digital. Got maybe 10 minutes left on the show. Let's go ahead and
Yeah. Let's hear what you got to say about the Eagles. Let's talk about the NFL. Yeah.
yes, yeah, we're gonna put. You got 3 minutes. Go ahead and just go off.
Man. Okay, hold up. We already fired our offensive coordinator, so I'm so grateful for him. But even though I really don't like our offensive coordinator, I have to be truthful. The source of it is honestly our head coach, Nick Sirianni. Now I am definitely more of a Jalen Hurts is not the problem kind of person. I can also admit that he does have his flaws, like most quarterbacks have their flaws. But a lot of people will say, like, oh, this game is super simple. They're running basic routes, da da da, so on and so forth. And they are. But the problem is that people will say, you might have heard what LaShawn McCoy said a couple days ago. The scheme is simple, and the offense is so elementary because Nick Sirianni has it that way. He literally said that on his opening day press conference back in 2021. He said, "What we're going to do is that we're going to have a very simplified offensive scheme and let the talent take over." He literally said this out of his mouth. So when I look at this scheme, it's so clear that the offense goes as the offensive coordinator we have, right? Because even though the scheme is so simplified, if you're a great play caller, you can make it work. Hence why in 2022, Jalen Hurts was an MVP candidate. In 2023, he was almost an MVP candidate prior to our collapse. And then when we got Kellen Moore last year, who's now a head coach, we went back to the Super Bowl. Then we do another internal hire for the year we just finished, and the offense looked terrible. The defense, there's nothing to say about the defense. Our defense is absolutely fantastic. It's one of the best defenses in the league. But I am definitely wholeheartedly of the opinion that it's definitely more of the coaching than it is the players. I think that because of the coaching, A.J. Brown is disgruntled with the offense and how it is. Because even then, people will say, well, like, A.J. Brown is tired of Jalen Hurts. Well, Jalen Hurts is the reason that A.J. Brown has 3 All-Pros in his first 3 years in Philly. Prior to A.J. Brown coming to Philly, he only had 1 Pro Bowl in 3 years in Tennessee. Mind you, he was on an offense with a prime Derrick Henry, right? So he was getting his one-on-ones. He was getting, those looks and whatnot. So say what you want to say about Jalen Hurts, but he's the reason that you're on an all-pro track. You're a top 3 to 5 receiver in the league. And if we're honest, puts you high key on a Hall of Fame trajectory. So I am definitely looking towards the upper brass of the Eagles organization, the owner, Howie Roseman, the GM, to get the correct hiring for offensive coordinator, because I've always have been the belief that Jalen Hurts really just needs a competent offensive coordinator. He didn't need Saquon Barkley because he took us to the Super Bowl in 2022 without Saquon Barkley. In his first year starting in 2021, when he didn't have A.J. Brown or Saquon Barkley, he still took us to the playoffs with a 9-8 record, and our defense was ranked 19th that year. So I think a lot of the narratives around Jalen Hurts are really just, if I'm being honest, like lazy in a way, just going based off of the last 2 years and just, what it looks like on the surface. But we already fired Patullo, so we'll see who we get hired next, and then we'll just go from there.
You muted, Fade.
Lost a lot of key pieces on the defense. Milton Williams, Darius Slade got cut.
For sure.
Defense is still 13th overall yards per game with 13. But
For sure.
But they only gave up 189 yards a game passing. So
exactly. And then I think points per game, I think we finished the season at 3rd or 4th, and our defense just really started upticking after we got Jalen Phillips from Miami, I think after like week 10. So like I said, all credit to Fangio, and that's what the Eagles need. We need a Vic Fangio kind of person on offense where it's like, we need you to not be wanting to be a head coach, because this is going to be Jalen Hurts' 6th year with a 6th different offensive coordinator. We need someone who's not trying to be a head coach, who just wants to be an offensive coordinator, who can just build with Jalen and build some chemistry. And that's all it really was, because, again, the 1 year that Jalen had back-to-back play callers in 2021 and 2022, he was an all-pro, and he was second in MVP voting behind Patrick Mahomes that year. So, we just need continuity. We need continuity and someone who can play to Jalen Hurts' strengths. But outside of that, yeah. And even with us losing pieces on defense, we've had a lot of draft picks that have started playing better. Like, we lost Milton Williams, but Moro Jomo honestly played just as well, if not better than Milton Williams did. And then we got Jalen Phillips to replace Josh Sweat. They're doing good. Quinyon Mitchell is like a top 3 corner in the league. Cooper DeJean is a top 2, top 3 slot in the league. Our linebackers, we arguably got one of the best linebacker cores in the league. Like, the defense, I have nothing to say about the defense. I just need them to get the right coordinator on offense. So we'll see.
Man, Mike McDonald might be the best fit, because I'm seeing being a head coach again, but
yes, him or Brian Daboll, because I know that Brian Daboll used to coach Jalen when he was at Alabama back in 2017, I think. And then He was a coach for Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith when they were at Alabama in 2017. He was Saquon's coach back when he was the Giants coach in 2022, and apparently him and Nick Sirianni were on the Chiefs staff back in like 2013. So there's a lot of continuity. So Mike McDaniels or Brian Daboll are my two, leading candidates for offensive coordinator for sure.
Hey, what you feel? How you feel about Cliff Kingsbury?
I like Cliff Kingsbury. I do like Cliff Kingsbury. If I'm being honest, he'd probably be like my third. Yeah, because I want him ahead of Stefanski. He'd probably be my third. I think he's a solid pick. If Mike McDaniel didn't have the track record of a very efficient play action offense, and if Brian Daboll didn't have the rapport that he had with Jalen Hurts and the other players on the team, Cliff Kingsbury would be my number one choice because what he did with Jaden Daniels. It speaks for itself. And then prior to Jaden Daniels, he was the coach for the Cardinals with Kyler Murray. So he's used to dealing with, mobile quarterbacks. So I don't mind having Cliff Kingsbury at all, but he would definitely be third on my list.
All right, let's transition over to Mike Tomlin leaving the Steelers yesterday. Ryan is we have Mike Tomlin Jr., Mike Tomlin's son, on the show tonight. Was it time for him to leave? Should he leave? What should he do next? What the Steelers going to do? Real quick.
So,
man, who want to go crazy? Hey, I think he made the right decision. I ain't gonna hold you, man. Based off of what my friends say, they just been like dogging him, man, and it's like y'all ain't really giving that man nothing to work with, to be honest. I think he made the right decision.
So here's the thing. It's 19 years, man. It's 19 years. The last 7 have been first round playoff exits.
True.
It was time. But I'm glad he was able to go out on his terms versus being fired. I'm gonna miss Mike Tomlin. I'm gonna miss I'm gonna miss him. I'm gonna miss his fire. I'm gonna miss the way he talked to the players. I'm gonna miss everything. I'm gonna miss everything about how him in the past. Since I'm 49, so since I've been around, there've only been 3 coaches for the Pittsburgh Steelers: Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and Mike Tomlin. Since I've been alive, I didn't see a lot of Chuck Noll. I just know the Steelers won. I saw the Bill Cowher years when you had some Slash and you had some Tommy Maddox, and you know what I mean. You had the beginning of Roethlisberger. I saw that they got a Super Bowl. It's hard because you got to understand that this man, outside of Bill at the time, he was the longest tenured head coach in the league. The longest tenured head coach. He's the only coach that I know of that has never had a losing season in his 19 years. He has 200 wins. He tied Chuck Noll. I think he tied Chuck Noll for the most wins as a coach. Bill Cowher didn't even do that. It was time. I think everything had run its course, but I'm not even going to put that on him. I really think more than anything, Omar Khan, you got to come see me. We got to have a conversation. Omar Khan, you gave the man some groceries and you shopped some of them at the bargain section.
I would all.
Some of them had good ripe stuff over here, look good, but then you start bringing me some trash at the end, Omar Khan. So we need to have a conversation. You can check with my agent and get my phone number, but we need to have a conversation.
Do you think that quick question, do you think that if any other, let's say an average NFL coach, whatever that looks like, do you feel like Mike Tomlin's coaching is the reason that y'all have even been able to have a winning record despite having like a middle of the pack roster for the past years?
I think that. I really think that because I mean, you got to look at the past 4 years.
Right.
2 of those years with Kenny Pickett, one of those years with a
True.
combination of Justin Fields and Russell Wilson,
Yeah.
and then this last past season with a 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers who is older than the defensive he's older than the head coach of the team that just beat him. So
That's
yeah,
true.
I
That's
I
true.
think that if Omar Khan, we don't put all our eggs into this basket of Aaron Rodgers, or we figure out a way after Roethlisberger to move forward effectively, then we're not having this conversation right now.
Oh, another one more quick question. Why did y'all get rid of George Pickens? I feel like that would have been a good combo with Metcalf this year.
George Pickens was a cancer.
Yeah.
He hadn't grown up yet. He still got some growing up to do, even in Dallas, even though he's had a spectacular season.
Oh, he's saying he's saying
He
money.
still got some growing up to do. He got some growing up to do. I mean, shoot. I mean, Metcalf did too. Evidently, they call him something bad in Detroit. They called it for him to take a swipe at somebody. But you should have known when you drafted him by the way he was standing with the mask on in front of the TV. You know what I'm saying? You knew what you was getting in, but his talent was trying to supersede the circumstances, if you get my drift there.
For sure. No, for sure. And I think that's why y'all put up, because in a way it kind of did for a while. You know what I mean? Like it
did.
Yeah. As you know, if he was with the program and y'all did have George Pickens this year, Aaron Rodgers probably would have been the person to probably unlock what Dak did with him this year, and then y'all offense. I feel like y'all defense wasn't that good this year, surprisingly enough. So I was surprised by y'all defense this year. I'm not gonna lie.
It was all right, but it could have been better. Could have been
That's
a lot.
Yeah. Like, I mean, y'all kind of did the Washington Commanders thing, where it's like y'all had a bunch of good players in y'all defense, but they were kind of like either at the end of their prime or past their prime.
Yeah, Steelers defense was ranked 16th, middle of the pack.
Yeah. The names sound good though. Jalen Ramsey, T.J. Watt, Cam Hayward, Highsmith, yeah.
You got
Patrick Queen
Jr.
Yeah,
Patrick Queen. The names are there.
Yeah, T.J. Watt 1 sack in 5 playoff games. Just want to drop it. DeMar Hamlin has the same amount.
Hey,
and he had a heart attack on the field.
TJ had a partially collapsed lung. Let's not do it. Let's not do that right now.
No, DeMar Hamlin almost died. No, my bad. He did die on the field.
He did die. He did pass away. He did die.
He did go sit at the right hand, and then they said, "Man, what you doing here?" And pushed him on back down.
Not yet.
We ain't gonna have time to get to the playoff games. I think Denver and Houston are gonna be in the championship game. That's gonna be a rock throwing fight in that game. And San Francisco and Chicago.
Ooh.
That's tough there. That's tough there. I don't know where I hadn't even looked at the brackets, but
Buffalo played Denver. Seattle plays San Francisco. Those first 2 games on Saturday.
Okay. Give me. I don't know. I think I really think anything. If Buffalo don't take it all the way, they don't have any obstacles anymore. Buffalo should have Buffalo should be. It's right there. It's right there.
Man, Buffalo just lost their 3rd receiver. They ain't got but 3 receivers that's ready. That's it. Receiver last week tore his ACL.
Oh, Davis, he showed the
I'm telling you now, Buffalo. I know y'all Mike gonna hate me for saying that. Buffalo don't even make it to the Super Bowl. You got to get rid of a whatchamacallit.
Oh hell.
Hey man. I want Denver to win because I respect Josh Allen, but I'm a Josh Allen hater. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know if it's just me, but it just seems like people want him to be better than Patrick Mahomes so bad. Like as soon as Patrick Mahomes got injured, they're like, "Oh, he's the best in the league. He's the best quarterback in the league. He's the best this. He's the best that." And it's just like I don't know, man. I think Josh Allen is a great quarterback, but I do think I don't know, man. When he had Stephon Diggs and he had a good defense, he couldn't get past Mahomes or Burrow. This year, there's no Burrow, Mahomes, or Jackson in the playoffs. And granted, he has less wide receiver help, but it's like, I don't know, man. If you're as good as Patrick Mahomes, at some point, you just got to make it shake. Patrick Mahomes hasn't had a number one receiver since Tyreek Hill left. And he's won 2 Super Bowls in that span. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. But I think that genuinely, I think Denver is gonna win. I think the injuries are a bit too much for Buffalo. I don't think Josh Allen has reached that Tom Brady level yet, where it's like, I don't care if you just worked at Walmart, I can make it happen. Who was us? Oh yeah, the Patriots and the Texans. I like Drake May, but that Texas defense, good God, Jesus Christ, my goodness, bro.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, Texans for sure. I agree with that.
Yeah, CJ Stroud is gonna be the problem. He's the weakest link on that team.
For sure. Listen, and then D'Amico just need to pull him to the side and be like, listen, as long as you don't turn the ball over, we'll probably be going to the Super Bowl. So just chill out, hand it off, play action, whatever have you. NFC side, not even because they just beat us. I don't think San Francisco has it to beat the because they're paying the Seahawks. Yeah. Because I know that's a division game, but they just played the last game of the regular season and they only got like 3 points on the Seahawks. I really feel like the only reason that the 49ers beat us is because our offense is so inept. It's not even funny. It's not even funny. I feel like they just have to play a team with a competent offense. I do know they're getting Fred Warner back maybe this week, so we'll see. And then Chicago versus the Rams.
Goes out. Wow.
Yeah. Chicago versus the Rams. Ooh.
Where is it?
In Chicago. Yeah, if it snows, I think I got to go with Chicago. Like if it's like real, real Chicago weather, definitely got to go Chicago.
Real quick, I know. Last question, Mike. This one's just for you. You firing Mike LaFleur to get Mike Tomlin?
No.
Tomlin didn't plan on coaching next year. He's not coaching next year. That has been said. Everybody that is called, he is really giving them the same message. I will not be coaching in 2026. So he's going to either be on television or he's taking him a year off. 27, who knows?
Mike LaFleur 1-5 in his last 6 playoff games. Oh, Mike, what we got in the morning?
School in the morning.
Got a squealer in the dia.
We out of here, y'all.
That's our show.
Appreciate your nephew. You officially nephew now.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate y'all, man. Good conversation. I appreciate y'all having me here.
We're gonna see Wednesday if Shot is taking a shot or Shot is going to shoot somebody after the Miami game. We out.
Somebody